Hello everyone, welcome to Take and Make Crafts at the Rockville Center Public Library with Miss Liz. Since it's almost spring, I thought it'd be nice to make a pinwheel that we can take outside in those March winds. So in your kit, you're gonna get a square of paper, pipe cleaner, a straw, and some stickers. And what first thing you do is you fold it in half diagonally, corner to corner, and that gives us a nice X. Then the next thing we do is you cut about halfway up each from the corner, about halfway up. Then, as soon as that's done, put some glue right in the center. Smush it on there. Wish I had that colorful glue that I could see where my glue was, but I'll just put a bunch on and it should work. Then you gently fold every other corner up into that glue. And looks just like a pinwheel. I'm going to try to get it in the center. And then I'm going to put a sticker right in the middle to help hold it down. Then you can either use a hole punch or you can use a pen, I think, because I'm not sure everybody has a hole punch, so I would just punch through with your pen. Then you take the pipe cleaner and you roll up one end, so it's like a nice little round roll, so it doesn't come through. Then we thread it through the hole we made, which mine wasn't so big, but I think I'm just going to pull it through like I was sewing. And then that's right in the middle, so that stays nice and sturdy. Then we take our straw and we thread the bottom of the pipe cleaner through the bendy side, the flexible side of the straw. That's what I'm doing right here. Always leave a little space between the straw and the pinwheel, so this way it can rotate and spin. All right, then we bend it. And this is a bit longer, so I'm going to snip off a little bit. And then I'm just going to wrap this part around the bottom of my straw so it stays in, stays nice, and we don't lose our straw. And that is your pinwheel. And you can go outside and spin it. It's pretty cool. And since we did our pinwheel, now we're going to read books about wind, which I thought would be fun because March is the windy month. So this first book is called Sunny by Celia Krampien. Most people do not like rainy days. Most people would say there is nothing good about trudging to school on a rainy day while the wind crawls up your sleeves and puddles soak your boots, making your footsteps squish and squash. That is what most people would say. But not Sunny. Sunny thought this day was the perfect day to use her big yellow umbrella, and it was. Until a big gust of wind came along. Now, most people would say that being pulled through the air by an umbrella was a bad sort of situation, but not Sunny, who felt like a bird soaring high above the little town below. But soon the town below was replaced by a stormy sea. Now, most people would agree that being blown out to sea was an awful, terrible sort of situation, but not Sunny, who liked watching the wind-capped waves rolling and tumbling one over another. Ooh. Then the sea started to get a little too close. Down, down, down she fell. Oh my goodness. Now, being trapped in a small boat and adrift on a stormy sea is what most people would call a horrible, dreadful, and ghastly sort of situation. But not Sunny, who thought she preferred boating just now to swimming. That's when a big wave came. Now, most people would say that things were looking exceedingly bleak, that being stuck on a rock in a boat surrounded by a stormy sea was probably as bad as things could get, but not Sunny, who thought things weren't that bad because at least she wasn't alone. She had a friend, the bird. But then she was. Now, most people would probably cry at this point. And this time, that's exactly what Sunny did. But then, the bird came back with friends. It looks like they're going to help her. Up, up, up she rose. She was lifted off the rock, over a less stormy sea, over the little town, and set down just where she needed to be. Now, most people would say that being late for school was a bad kind of situation, but not Sunny. She thought that this one time, her teacher would understand. And there's her bird. Friend the Bird. That was Sunny by Celia Krampien. Another book about wind called The Queen's Hat by Steve Antony. Look at both the Queen and all her soldiers at Buckingham Palace, the Queen of England. And there's her little dog. The Queen's Hat. The Queen was on her way to visit someone very special when the wind went swish. The wind took the Queen's favorite hat right off her head. It soared high above the Queen. It whooshed high above the Queen's men. The wind was so strong that it swept the Queen's hat all the way to Trafalgar Square and all through London Zoo and all along the London Underground and all along the London Eye, which is a big, beautiful Ferris wheel in London, and all across the Tower Bridge, all across and all over Big Ben. Big Ben, the big clock tower in London, where it sailed farther up into the sky. Swoosh! Wow, that really is high. Until at last the Queen and all the Queen's men floated gently down into Kensington Palace, along with the Queen's hat. I landed on a baby. And the butler says, would anyone like a cup of tea? And the Queen is wheeling the baby, and she has her hat back. And in this book, it tells you all about the different places in London that's in this book. So it's a really, really nice book. Beautiful end papers, too, of all the soldiers at Buckingham Palace, the Royal Guard. So that's The Queen's Hat by Steve Antony. And now we have one more book about wind called The Wind Blew by Pat Hutchins. The wind blew. And it's so pretty, and you can see it blowing and bending the trees. The wind blew. It took the umbrella from Mr. White and quickly turned it inside out. It snatched the balloon from little Priscilla and swept it up to join the umbrella. And there's a wedding going on, watching it happen. And not content, it took a hat from the groom. And still not satisfied with that, it whipped a kite into the air and kept it spinning round up there. It grabbed a shirt left out to dry and tossed it upward to the sky. It plucked a hanky from a nose, and up, 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 and up it rose. It lifted the wig from the judge's head and didn't drop it back. Instead, it whirled the postman's letters up as if it hadn't done enough. Ooh. It blew so hard it quickly stole a striped flag fluttering on a pole. It pulled the new scarves from the twins and tossed them to the other things. It sent the newspapers fluttering round, and then, tired of the things it found, it mixed them up and threw them down, right on everybody's heads. And it blew away to sea. Goodbye, wind. goodbye to everybody. I hope you get some good wind to make your pinwheel spin. And we'll see you next week. Thank you from the Rockville Center Public Library.